8 hours with a shovel in the city summer sun. Aching arms and dusty boots and the job that won't get done. 2 weeks' pay spent yesterday in a 3-change bus ride home. And the fading gray of a long, hard day, not a thing to call your own. And the boy turns and asks his old dad, he says, are you glad for the kind of life you've had? And he says, life is good. Spring is in the air. You got $2 in your pocket, a little bit of Brill cream in your hair. You know life is good when you're proud of it.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. People yakety-yak the streak and waste your time a day. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, and this one will talk till his voice is hoarse. You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this.
When we were younger, we thought everyone was on our side. Then we grew a little and romanticized the time. I saw flowers in your hair. It takes a boy to live, it takes a man to pretend he was there. So then we grew a little and knew a lot, and now we demonstrated it to the cops and all the things we said. We were self-assured, 'cause it's a long road to wisdom, but it's a short one to being ignored. Be in my eyes, be in my heart, be in my eyes. For my wedding, I will dress in black. Never again will I look back. Oh, my dark angels, we must part. For I've made a sanctuary of my heart. To want what I have, to take what I'm given with grace. For this I pray on my wedding day. For my wedding, I don't want violence or sentimental songs about thick and thin. I want a moment of silence and a moment of prayer for the love we'll need to make it in the world out there. To want what I have, to take what I'm given with grace. For this I pray on my wedding day. On my wedding day. Well, I dream and my dreams are all glory and light. That's what I wanted for my life. And if it hasn't always been that way, well, I can dream and I can pray on my wedding day.
A warm welcome to everyone this afternoon. Susan and Mark have gathered us here today to witness their wedding vows and to celebrate their marriage. On their behalf, I want to thank you all for being here, those of you who have traveled far and near to join them in celebration. Susan and Mark are just delighted that you've come to share in their joy as they pledge their lifelong commitment to one another and begin this new chapter in their lives. While Susan and Mark have come here today to make lifelong promises to each other alone, they do so within a large network of family and friends among whom they will live out their lives as a couple. So will the families of Susan and Mark, if you're not already standing, please stand or give a wave. Okay, I have a question for you, and if this applies, if you're a family member, please respond accordingly at the end of my question. As Susan and Mark now join their lives in marriage, they bring all of you together into new relationships, expanding the bonds of trust and ties of affection within your families. Will you give them your encouragement, your love, and your blessing? If so, please commit to supporting them by saying, "We will," together now. We will. In gratitude and love, Susan and Mark, you have flowers to present. Are you still going to do it?
Yes, I'm just completely blanked out.
There's some flowers we are fetching because Susan and Mark would like to present flowers to Susan and Mark would like to present flowers to Susan's brother Steve, who took their departed father's place in walking her down the aisle. So to Steve, and to Mark's mother and father, Alan and Virginia, on this very special day in the life of these families. Susan and Mark have been waiting for this day patiently for a long time, a good portion of their lives, in fact. To find true love later in life carries with it a richness and contentment that is incomparable. Susan had married and become the mother to 3 beautiful daughters before her marriage ended after 14 years. She stopped dating to focus her energies on her career and in raising her daughters. Then 10 years later, as an empty nester, she tried dating again, but with poor results. She considered putting aside her pursuit of love permanently, having doubts about ever finding love again. In April 2015, despite her uncertainty, Susan decided to give dating another try. Not knowing where to go to meet someone new, she signed up for Match.com, which is quite common now in the 21st century. However, she did not find anyone who interested her among those she saw or met through the website. Becoming discouraged, she logged in one more time on May 2nd with the intention of pulling the plug on the account, planning to choose the seemingly easier path of remaining single. However, instead of pulling the plug that day, she was surprised to find that she had received an email that seemed worthy of a response. The email from Mark read, "Hi, you seem like a great person, and I think we have some common interests. I'm hoping you might like to write and eventually meet. Please let me know." Yes, that was Mark. Mark was quite unattached, never having been married. Like Susan, he too had doubts about ever finding love. Mark had put work before relationships in the past, but changed his life priorities as he got older. He had dated some in recent years, but hadn't found his true love. Then he met Susan online. She accepted his invite to meet on May 7th at a local restaurant to get acquainted. They hit it off immediately on that first date and found themselves talking for hours. The manager practically had to kick them out as it was past closing time, with no one left in the building other than them. It was very exciting for Mark the first couple of times he invited Susan to his house for dinner. Of course, he was nervous, but his worries turned to happiness when Susan liked the food and wine he served. She even liked snails. Early on in their relationship, Susan mentioned to Mark that one of her daughters liked gnomes and had little gnome figurines throughout her garden and house. She told Mark how much she liked gnomes and wanted one for her balcony to put in between her flower pots. Lo and behold, on their very next date, Mark opened his trunk and handed Susan a garden statue of a gnome with a silly grin riding a pig that she thought was so adorable and made just for her. Who knew? Apparently, Mark had figured it was a good choice. From then on, every evening when Susan sat in her living room overlooking the balcony, that silly gnome was grinning at her, making her laugh. By this time, Susan and Mark were seeing each other exclusively, and to this day, Susan accuses Mark of having cast a spell on that gnome to make her fall in love with him. Their romance blossomed as they took walks at the Chicago Botanic Garden, went out to eat or to hear good music, stayed in to eat Mark's home cooking, always paired with good wine, or to watch old movies. Whatever the activity, they kept enjoying the ease and comfort of each other's company. They learned of their common interests in art, museums, travel, and historical sites, and listened to each other's dreams for retirement. They were not only falling in love with each other, they were becoming good friends. During this time, Susan attended an art rave painting party with her daughters, and Susan painted a picture of a dandelion with seeds blowing into the wind, symbolizing wishes. And yes, she gave that painting to Mark, telling him that he was her wish come true. Their relationship was getting serious quickly. After Susan spent the 4th of July weekend together with Mark's family just last year, the bond was cemented in her mind. She knew that she had found the one. On September 19th, Mark asked for Susan's hand in marriage at the Botanic Garden. They were now engaged, living together, deepening a beautiful and much longed for friendship and planning this, their wedding day. And so, here we are today, when their wishes and dreams come to fruition, as expressed by the poet Courtney Kuchta. If I could have just one wish, I would wish to wake up every day to the sound of your breath on my neck, the warmth of your lips on my cheek, and the touch of your fingers on my skin, and the feel of your heart beating with mine, knowing that I could never find that feeling with anyone other than you.
I'll light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today. Staring at the fire for hours and hours while I listen to you play your love songs all night long. For me, only for me. Come to me now and rest your head for just 5 minutes. Everything is done. Such a cozy room, the windows are illuminated by the evening sunshine through them, fiery gems for you, only for you. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And la 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 la.
Countless authors and poets have opined about love and marriage, expressing common sentiments based on their own experiences. Susan and Mark have chosen some reflections and poems that have special resonance for them and their newfound love for each other. We'll begin with some thoughts by singer-songwriter Bob Marley, who wrote, "Only once in your life you find someone who will completely turn your world around. You tell them things that you've never shared with any other soul, and they absorb everything you say and actually want to hear more. You share hopes for the future, dreams that will never come true, goals that were never reached, and the many disappointments life has thrown at you. When something wonderful happens, you can't wait to tell them about it, knowing they will share in your excitement. They are not embarrassed to cry with you when you are hurting or laugh with you when you make a fool of yourself. Never do they hurt your feelings or make you feel like you are not good enough, but rather they build you up and show you the things about yourself that make you special and even beautiful. There is never any pressure, jealousy, or competition, but only a quiet calmness when they are around. You can be yourself and not worry about what they will think of you because they love you for who you are. The things that seem insignificant to most people, such as a note, song, or walk, become invaluable treasures kept safe in your heart to cherish forever. Memories of your childhood come back and are so clear and vivid it's like being young again. Colors seem brighter and more vibrant. Laughter seems part of daily life when it was infrequent before or didn't exist at all. A phone call or two during the day helps you to get through a long day's work and always brings a smile to your face. In their presence, there's no need for continuous conversation, but you find you're quite content in just having them nearby. Things that never interested you before become fascinating because you know they are important to this person who is so special to you. You think of this person on every occasion and in everything you do. Simple things bring them to mind, like a pale blue sky, gentle wind, or even a storm cloud on the horizon. You open your heart knowing there's a chance it may be broken one day, and in opening your heart, you experience a love and joy that you never dreamed possible. You find that being vulnerable is the only way to allow your heart to feel true pleasure that's so real it scares you. You find strength in knowing you have a true friend and possibly a soulmate who will remain loyal to the end. Life seems completely different, exciting, and worthwhile. Your only hope and security is in knowing that they are a part of your life. And from Emily Dickinson, who conveys in this poem the breadth and fullness of the love that the two of you bring to this day and to each other. It's all I have to bring today, this and my heart beside, this and my heart and all the fields and all the meadows wide. Be sure you count, should I forget someone the sum could tell. This and my heart and all the bees which in the clover dwell. Susan penned her own poem named The Willow Tree to express how much being with Mark means to her. It's too long to recount in full here now. However, a copy is near the guest book in the barn, and if you'd like to read it later, please do so. Susan's daughter, Jackie, and her husband, Dan, made a box for Susan to present to Mark now during the ceremony. It has a quote about marriage inscribed on top that Jackie had recently brought to her attention. Susan would like to, are you going to read it? She'd like to read the inscription from the top of the box to Mark. Susan will read it.
So, I'm giving Mark an empty box as a wedding present. The empty box is symbolic of something.
Why don't you step to the mic here?
Oh boy. Walking is not easy. Okay. This is the quote. Most people get married believing a myth that marriage is a beautiful box full of things they have longed for. Companionship, intimacy, friendship, etc. The truth is that marriage at the start is just an empty box. You must put something in before you can take anything out. There is no love in marriage. Love is in people, and people put love in marriage. There is no romance in marriage. You have to infuse it into your marriage. A couple must learn the art and form the habit of giving, loving, serving, praising, keeping the box full. If you take out more than you put in, the box will remain empty. So this is, you know where this is going, right? On the dresser. So Jackie brought this idea to my attention, and she and her husband made that for me to give as a gift to you.
Susan and Mark, each of you has waited a long time to come to this moment, to make this commitment to another person. A spark was ignited when you met, and now the fire of love is burning. But over time, the flame will give way to embers, and though they may be the hottest of all, You will need to tend them carefully to keep them alive, to be very deliberate in keeping the embers of love alive. Those slow burning embers of affection, tenderness, and friendship alive. Tending the fire, tending the embers requires vigilance, and commitment. Remember these words then from Judy Picoult. You don't love someone because they are perfect. You love them in spite of the fact that they're not. And finally, extraordinary things are always hiding in places people never think to look. So now I would like you to join hands and face each other. If it is your intention to commit to each other in marriage with all the joys, sorrows, adventures, and responsibilities that the years will bring, I ask you now, in the presence of family and friends, to bind together as husband and wife with these promises you make to each other. Mark, will you take Susan as your wedded wife to share your life with her, to be her best friend, to love, honor, and care for her with tenderness and affection in all the varying circumstances of your lives?
I will.
Susan, will you take Mark as your wedded husband to share your life with him, to be his best friend, to love, honor, and care for him with tenderness and affection in all the varying circumstances of your lives? May I have the rings, please? As an ever-present reminder of your wedding vows, you bring these rings to exchange as the quintessential symbol of that which is eternal. The circle symbolizes that there is no beginning and no ending to the unbreakable bond of love being made this day between the two of you, Susan and Mark. As you place these rings on each other's hand, it signifies that there shall be no end to your marriage and no end to the happiness that you will both share together. Mark, please take your ring for Susan, place it on her hand, and repeat after me. Susan, I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
Susan, I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
May it remind you always that you are surrounded
May it remind you always that you are surrounded
by my enduring love.
by my enduring love.
And Susan, please take your ring for Mark, place it on his hand, and repeat after me. Mark, I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
Mark, I give you this ring as a symbol of my love.
May it remind you always that you are surrounded
May it remind you always that you are surrounded
by my enduring love.
by my enduring love.
Insomuch as you, Susan and Mark, have pledged your fidelity to one another in the presence of this company, by the authority vested in me by the state of Wisconsin, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Mark, you may now kiss your bride. As you go forward in your new life together, keep this testament of love by the poet E. E. Cummings always at your side, something also that you chose. Indeed, it is poetry to live by, poetry for lovers to share with each other all the days of their lives. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. Susan and Mark, know that this assembly of friends and family, in front of whom you have professed your marriage vows, wish you all joy and happiness in the years to come. I now present to you Mr. and Mrs. Mark Molenaar.
Mark and her family, and just how wonderful we had seen how you treated our mother, and just how wonderful that we know this wonderful marriage is, and how happy our mom is in seeing this, and we just really are very excited that you are into our family, Mark.
Our grandpa would have really liked you. He also would have told you that though you are a wonderful catch, she is too. And you guys are so lucky to have found each other.
We're really pleased to have Susan in our family. She came up, we met her July 4th last year, and I don't think we had seen Mark smile that much in the previous 20 years all put together.
When he told us he was engaged and he was going to get married, I thought, well, what took you so long? I mean, what took you so long?
He's waiting for me.
The world is like a big ocean out there, and sometimes it takes a long time to find the right pearl in that ocean. And I think he has found the pearl for him. Spinning under